Hey guys, what's going on? It's Andrew from AR Media. In today's video, I want to do a review on Power Rangers. Now, this is my first Dolby Vision review on disc, so I'm super pumped to go over it. So I'm going to go over the movie, the picture quality, and if it's worth the pickup. Let's get to it. So I went into Power Rangers with very low expectations. Honestly, I did not think much of this movie. It really took a lot of convincing for me to get it. But once I picked up the Oppo on Friday, I knew that I had to pick up my first Dolby Vision disc. I'm going to pick up Despicable Me 1 and 2, but this definitely had to be a first. So let's go over the movie briefly. Now, when I went into this, I grew up with the Power Rangers, but the thing is, I don't really remember anything from that far back. I was really only into them when I was super young. So I went into this completely blind, not knowing the characters, really not knowing anything. And I think altogether they made a really good story out of it. It had like a Breakfast Club style teenage angst to it, and the origin story was actually pretty good. So you see how they become Power Rangers, you see why they become Power Rangers, and you get more of a backstory behind them, so you get kind of invested into the characters. Now overall, I do think that the story pays off. I think it has a good villain, and I think it will keep you entertained the whole time. There's nothing that I'm looking to give away here, but for all the naysayers out there like myself, it definitely is worth a watch, and it definitely is an interesting watch, and I'm actually kind of hoping for a sequel after the first one. Now let's get to the picture quality. First, I'm going to go over the Dolby Vision, because that's what I watched first, and let me just tell you, reference quality transfer, by far. This transfer is out of this world. This is one of the best transfers I've seen. Now, I don't know if that's just the Dolby Vision speaking. I don't think so, but I did compare it to the HDR10. But let me go over my Dolby Vision thoughts first. So for one, this is a 4K digital intermediate. So this is true 4K. And it shows. And this also has visual effects in 4K, and it shows. The upscale in detail is insane. The upscale in the pores on the character's face. When you see in the beginning the opening shot of the Power Ranger stuck in like soil, gravel, you see so much texture within the surface. The landscapes, you see so much detail, especially the wide landscapes. It is a phenomenal picture. It is clear. There is no noise really at all. Very, very little, if there is any at times, and all the shots are spot on. I really didn't see any soft shots in this, and it was a very welcome addition. I thought this really was a top quality transfer on the same level as John Wick 2, I would say. Now let's get into the HDR, which in this case I'll go over Dolby Vision first. So the Dolby Vision blew me away with its color palettes. What struck me with the Dolby Vision version compared to the HDR10 was the more shades of color in the Dolby Vision version, the more detail in the color in the Dolby Vision version. So for example, on any of the Rangers' armor, but specifically the Red Ranger's armor, especially in the third act, you can see the wear and tear within the colors way better than you can on the HDR10. You can actually see some detail that you couldn't see in the HDR10 version on the Dolby Vision version. That's how much of an upgrade I really do think that the Dolby Vision version is. Besides that, you just get an overall better color palette. You get more defined colors. I would just say they're better rendered color, more real life colors, and it's not so noticeable with the HDR pop, like I said in the last video. Don't get me wrong, the colors still pop off the screen, but it's a little bit of a different kind of pop. Now let's get to the HDR10 version. Also, reference quality transfer. The wide color gamut does a fantastic job at making the colors bright and vivid. They do pop off the screen. All the Rangers, especially when they're morphing in for the first time, looks phenomenal, and those colors really do give you a sight to behold. Now in the third act, Rita, the green villain, mixed with the huge gold liquid guy, is a sight to be seen, especially with this 4K special effects. It looks phenomenal. It really does. In both formats, in Dolby Vision or HDR, the third act is something that will blow you away as long as you're on an HDR-capable set. I will tell you that. It is bright, it is vivid, it pops off the screen. Next, I'm going to bring up black detail, because surprisingly, this is actually a very dark movie. A lot of it takes places in caves, and the HDR in the Dolby Vision helps a ton. I would say the Dolby Vision definitely edges the HDR out here. In the dark scenes on the Dolby Vision, I could really make out everything. All these shadows were perfectly contrasted. It really was a great viewing experience, because in the cave sequences, it is kind of hard to see what's going on. In the HDR10, the HDR does improve upon what you can see in the blacks compared to the Blu-ray, but not as much as Dolby Vision. But either way, the black levels here are very good, and the HDR makes the shadow and detail very, very increased compared to the Blu-ray. Last thing I'm going to mention is depth. Now, this is really one of the first movies where I felt the 3D effect without 3D, because this has a ton of depth to it, and some of the shots are shot like they're supposed to be in 3D, and when I'm watching it on the 4K Dolby Vision on the Oppo, that 3D is actually convincing. That added depth that 4K is supposed to bring is really increasing. And overall, guys, I gotta say, if you got a set that's capable, if you have an Oppo, you have to go pick this up as a Dolby Vision disc. And if not, this is a reference quality HDR10 disc. I would definitely give the movie a chance. It's not nearly as bad as people are saying. I actually found it quite enjoyable. And I hope you guys liked this video. Please throw me a like if you did, and please subscribe down below for more content in the future. Have a good day, guys.